Everyone thinks the Ibanez PF15 is just another cheap beginner box, but here's the thing: playability-wise, it punches above its price while hiding a trade-off that most buyers won't notice until month 3. I spent 14 days testing it in real-world conditions, measuring action, relief, and tuning stability with a strobe tuner and calipers, and a /being against a Yamaha FG800 and a Fender FA125. The surprising truth: the PF15's neck and fretwork feel way more expensive than its laminated top suggests, yet the tone ceiling is real. Keep watching, because what I found during stress testing and upgrades might change how you shop in this price range. Before we dive into what I discovered, if you're already leaning toward it and want the best current price, the link is below. But stick around, because there's a specific tweak that turns this into a way better guitar than the box suggests. Here's the setup. I needed a reliable teaching and travel guitar that I could hand to students without worrying about razor-sharp fret ends or wrestling the action. I've been burned before by budget acoustics that buzz at the first aggressive strum, drift out of tune every 20 minutes, and leave fingers aching after 2 songs. I wanted something under $200 that didn't feel like a toy. Honestly, I expected the PF15 to be another laminate dreadnought that sounds fine for 3 weeks and then lives in a closet. Hope met skepticism as I unboxed it, tuned it up, and set a baseline. Room humidity held between 45 and 55%, temp around 70 Fahrenheit. Time to see if the PF15 is a sleeper or just another starter. First, playability and setup. Out of the box with factory 1253 strings, my action measured 2.6 on the low E and 2.0 on the high E at the 12th fret. Relief sat at roughly 0.25 measured at the 7th fret with a capo on 1 and fretting at 14. That's shockingly usable for a budget guitar. Fret ends, smooth. No cheese grater edges even after a week as humidity drifted up to 58%. Intonation was within plus or minus 5 cents up to the 12th fret, with the worst offender being the B string at the 10th. But then I noticed the nut and saddle are plastic and the bridge pins are basic. That screamed upgrade potential. Next, tuning stability. I stretched the strings and logged drift over 3 sessions. A 45-minute strumming workout, a 2-hour fingerstyle practice, and a 30-minute capo session at fret 2 and 4. After day 1, the E and a strings drifted 10-15 cents. By day 3, drift settled to 3-5 cents between songs. Diecast tuners felt consistent, around a 14:1 ratio feel, no dead spots. But then on day 7, after a humid afternoon, action crept up by roughly 0.2 on the low E. A quarter turn on the truss rod via the soundhole form hex brought it back. So if you're in a climate that swings, be ready to tweak. Tone test. I recorded SBL at 1 meter. Aggressive strumming averaged 85-86 dB. Fingerpicking sat around 72-75 dB. The voice is classic laminate dreadnought. Strong low mids around 200-400 Hz, controlled low end, and highs that are polite rather than sparkling. Chords stack cleanly without getting woofy, which is a win for beginners. But then, compared to a Yamaha FG800 with a solid top, the PF15 has less shimmer on the top end, and a shorter sustain tail by about 0.6–0.8 seconds on an open G decay to minus 60 dB. The FG800 is bigger and livelier. The PF15 is smoother, more forgiving. Build and comfort. The PF15's slim C-neck with a 40-tune nut and 25.5-inch scale felt easy for smaller hands. Gloss finish looks good but can get a bit tacky in sweaty sessions. At roughly 4.3 pounds and with a dreadnought body depth of about 5 inches, it sits well whether you're standing or couch playing. No gig bag in the box is a bummer. Strap button on the tail only, you'll tie at the headstock or add a button. But here's where it gets interesting. Fretwork on my unit was cleaner than the FA125 and about on par with the FG800. That matters more for daily practice than raw volume. The big discovery came after an hour-long upgrade session. I swapped in a bone saddle and nut set and a set of phosphor bronze 1254s. Sustain on that open G jumped from roughly 3.8 seconds to 4.6 seconds to minus 60 dB in my room. Highs opened up and the B string intonation tightened a hair. Suddenly, the PF15's laminated top wasn't the limiting factor it felt like on day 1. It still won't outproject a solid top Yamaha, but for fingerstyle and light strumming, the tone got livelier and the note separation improved. I put in about 12 total play hours over 10 sessions, and the neck stayed consistent after that initial truss tweak. Compared to alternatives, here's the real talk. The Yamaha FG800 wins on acoustic tone and headroom, no contest, thanks to the solid spruce top. The Fender FA125 usually loses on fretwork and consistency. The PF15? It's the playability pick in the under 200 bracket, with the easiest on-ramp for beginners and a neck that makes daily practice less painful. The too good to be true factor is that you'll eventually want more shimmer and depth. If you never plan to upgrade the nut and saddle or change strings, you might feel underwhelmed after the honeymoon. But if you can spend $25 to $30 on upgrades, the PF15 becomes a legit keeper as a couch, travel, or lesson room workhorse. Now that you know the PF15's secret sauce is playability and easy upgrade potential, you'll want to snag it before prices creep or stock cycles to a rougher batch. I've linked the best current price below, along with the exact bone set and strings I used to unlock that extra sustain. Bottom line, the Ibanez PF15 is not the loudest or richest sounding budget acoustic, but it's one of the most playable. Buy it if you're a beginner who values comfort, a teacher who needs dependable fretwork, or a casual player wanting a durable campfire guitar. Skip it if you crave solid top resonance for recording or need onboard electronics. In that case, look at the FG800 or the PF15 ECA. Here's what nobody tells you. In this price range, comfort is king. Get the PF15 for the neck and upgrade the hardware for the tone.